PD Fresh bringing it to you on a Wednesday morning. I hope you're doing well. Today what we're going to talk about, we're starting a new playlist called Trade School. The thing that inspired me about this in our college segment of our YouTube channel was the school that I volunteer in to be a college counselor. I don't know if it's a socioeconomic situation or the demographics. I really don't know. But I know my students, they really aren't too high on college, which is fine. I kind of meet people where they are. And they're more wanting to, using one of the kids' words that just graduated, I like hard work, really hard work. So I was like, all right. So that's what inspired me to start this playlist of Trade School. Because as I mentioned previously in my archives, what I want you to have is not a job, but I want you to have a career that help you grow, help you support yourself, your family, your future family. And so let's look into what a trade school is before I actually start talking about little particular areas of the trade school. And maybe, I'm not sure yet, but eventually I will talk about a trade school here in the Miami, South Florida area that the kids are interested in, and it's something that I've considered now that we're continuing this whole realm of college, but now we're looking at trade school. Same thing, it's after you graduate from high school. All right, so I did a little Canva presentation here. What is trade school? Again, it is a school, it is schooling, but it'll teach you different crafts, like you see here on the images here. You know, from plumbing to chef to welding to aircraft mechanic, things of that nature. So that is what a trade school is. So instead of talking about a particular topic like a welding or something like that, now we're talking what is it? Because that's the first thing in any good project, any good scientific method, any good problem solving, in my opinion, is to identify what the issue is or the problem. And once you do that, then you can kind of go from there and kind of expand on knowing you have to have a foundation before you get started. So what is a trade school? A trade school, also known as a vocational school, a technical school, or I duplicated it. A trade school could also be a vocational school, technical school, and I said vocational twice. There you go. And the funny thing is I proofread this. But you know, that's life, man. Life in the big city. I forgot what the other one word was, but it's really that. It's a post high school, because that's really important. Anything that we're talking about when we're talking about trade school, I think we spoke about community college, my local one, which is very huge, over 100,000 kids. Miami-Dade College, which is actually more of a community college 2-year school. And this trade school, all of these things on the college segment of the YouTube channel, we're talking about post high school, after you graduate from high school. And what's the deal here? What is a trade school? Designed to give students skills to prepare them for a specific occupation. So it really pinpoints what it is, the skill you're trying to get, and it's something to consider. These programs can range from 8 months to 2 years long, which is amazing considering community school. Usually community college is at least 2 years, and regular college is at least 4. So it could definitely cut your time, sometimes more than in half. Now, here we have, you can get jobs directly related to the field you studied in your program. Now, I think that's important because sometimes one of the all wonderful questions when you have a college degree is, hey, what are you going to do with it? And with trade school, there is no, well, maybe, I don't know. You know exactly what you're going to be doing. And in a perfect world, the key word is a perfect world, because I do want to take some time off this summer. I don't know when yet, but I do. But I do want to at least tackle these top 3. And I actually took a picture of my research, and there are more than these 8. But I'm sure there's a bunch. But I did take a picture of it, so in case in next summer or in the future, I want to focus more on these trade schools. I definitely want to emphasize that, and I might even go back to these first 3 in the future again, because here, at least in South Florida, these top 3 are really, really critical, which are jobs that you can get from trade school: air conditioning, electrician, plumber, welder, or God knows here in Miami, South Florida, they're always building something and taking things apart. Welder's huge here. Aircraft mechanic, huge. Cosmetologist, chef, and massage therapy. Those are really, really big fields, especially the top three. They're huge fields here in the South Florida region. And I'm definitely going to tackle air conditioning first. And then eventually I'll talk about specific school or whatever, but I want to see, and I'm going to learn myself because I really don't know. And I inquired actually from my air conditioning guy some things, and I took some notes about 2-3 months ago. And I'm going to look around, and same thing with electrician and plumber. I really don't know that much, minimal at best. And I'm going to be learning just like you on what these trade schools or what I can get for air conditioning, electrician, and plumber. So you can go directly into that job. Now, here's the one little negative, and again, I think I mentioned it as well in my disadvantages at the end of the PowerPoint here. At the end of the Canvas slides. Usually, these trade schools are for profit. Usually, tuition may be high. So, in other words, so let's say I open up the Louis D. Fresh Trade School, right? And I hire a bunch of people and what have you. And let's say my overhead, what it costs to pay my people, pay the land or where I'm going to be teaching costs me, I don't know, let's say, I don't know, $10,000 a month, because that's not far-fetched. I want to make sure that with all my students, I at least double that in order to have some type of profit, in order to pay myself, pay others, pay electricity, blah, blah, blah. So that's why tuition may be high, because they're out, obviously, understandably so, trying to make a profit. So tuition is definitely going to be high. At the end of the program, you could get a certificate such as that for that skill, which is good because that shows, hey, in Spanish it sounds better, papelito, the little paper says, look, I've taken classes, I'm ready for doing X, Y, and Z skill. Prepares you for your license exam. You definitely want to be licensed because God forbid you get sued or things like that before doing for an error. You want to make sure that you are licensed so you can get insured, so to cover yourself, because you are human and you may make a mistake. And you can also at the trade school become an apprentice. You can learn from a master, and or you could be a journeyman in a skilled trade. And then you could be a part of a community as you're learning to become that master skilled person in your trade school. All right, so the benefits of a trade school, and this is a huge, I think it's in my opinion, the number one benefit. It takes less time to complete a program. Because there are people who just are not school people, and I'm learning that more and more every time in my volunteer school. I get it. You may not want to be there. You want to go to work. You want to just get your little paper and run and start making some money. Maybe you've fallen in love. You want to get married, have kids. So having less time to complete a program is huge because you don't have to go through a lot of stuff. You can just do what you got to do. Again, another big thing is hands-on preparation for the specific job. You could literally be pressing the buttons, turning the wrench, doing what it really needs. You're not just kind of go, oh, that's beautiful. In theory, no, you're actually getting your hands dirty and doing that job. So that's a great benefit. Jobs can also be high-paying. They really can. If you don't believe me, at least here in South Florida, air conditioning is a monster business, monster. And people anywhere, like electricity is everywhere, most everywhere. To get a good electrician to solve your issue, it's going to cost you a pretty penny. So it can be high paying. And one of the best things, I'll probably right up there with less time to complete a program, is there's no stress. There's the stress of college application process. You don't have to it's just you apply and you show interest, you're in. It's one of those open admission things. So you don't have to deal with all that. You don't have to do the SAT, the ACT. You don't have to worry about college applications. You don't have to worry about grade requirements. It really takes a lot of the stress out of, because it is. I'm not going to sit here and lie. College process is stressful, because you're trying to compete with the world, trying to see what school you're going to get into. You don't have to worry about any of that stuff with the trade school, and it really makes it a lot easier to get where you're going and a lot less time for possibly a high-paying job. And my last little slide here, disadvantages of a trade school. college grads, on average, and that's a key word, on average, make more money than trade school grads. Yes, on average, on paper, yes. But it really depends if you're a hustler. I mean, if you open up your own business, you really, it really depends. So that's why I say on average. So that's going to be a disadvantage. 4-year colleges tend to offer more generous financial aid. That's a huge disadvantage. Usually the financial aid market, the financial aid process that I spoke about before, look back on my archives, look on the college financial aid playlist, and I'm sure we're going to delve back into it because I want to repeat it year after year after year, is they don't give you as much. They may, but and definitely loans for sure, but financial aid is definitely going to be on the lesser side. This is also a big disadvantage in my opinion. You will miss out on the traditional college experience. As I was preparing this Canvas slide, I was thinking about the time, it must have been 1990, 1991, when my school, Fordham University, they beat Seton Hall in basketball out of New Jersey. And Seton Hall was a powerhouse back then. And the fact that we beat them and we all ran onto the court, and that's a memory I will never, ever forget. That was just a rich experience. And so that's why I throw that at you. Traditional college experience will definitely be missed. And you also miss out on all these parties and all that. Well, why so? Because if you're in a trade school, you're there for a purpose. You want to get the material, get what you got to get, and get out. But in college, you definitely do party. I'm not going to sit here and lie. You definitely do. And that's a nice experience when you're 18 to 22. Traditional college offers more broad, well-rounded education. And I definitely agree with that too. You can definitely be taking your philosophies and theologies and sociologies and ologies, etc. You will definitely learn more as a whole than you will a trade school. Trade school is pinpointing. This is what we're getting. This is what we're learning. You get more from a college in terms of the overall education. And last but not least, there is more job flexibility with a traditional college degree. In other words, there are different job opportunities with your degree. With a trade school, you want to be a plumber, that's what you study, that's what you're going to be. So that's why there's definitely more flexibility in the job market when you have a 4-year college. And honestly, while I was doing this, I was thinking about, let me just talk about a particular technical school here in South Florida. I was thinking about, hey, let me just jump into, air conditioning, which is enormous down here in South Florida. But I decided not to because, like I said, I think I don't want to assume that you know what I'm talking about. The same thing with fish. I don't want to assume that you know what I'm talking about because I'm going to start a new playlist about fish, about the little, oops, I can't see because I didn't turn it around, about the little fish. Let me show you. Little tank that I have here. I want to start addressing that, and I want to at least tell you, what it is and what it. So it's really, 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 really important that you address what things are. So that's what we did in this episode, in this college segment. What is a trade school? What are its advantages, its disadvantages? We were also talking about the different things that you could get, like electrician, air conditioning repair person, your plumbing, welding. There's many different things. And truly, at the end of the day, yeah, if that's your thing, if that's what you really want, and that's what you say, hey, I want to get my degree, get my certificate, get out, get into the real world, let's get moving. That's great. So that's why I'm focusing on trade schools because, like I said, I'm always learning. And these kids in my school, they kind of taught me that. They're like, hey, college is not the only thing, so let's talk about trade school. So that's what we're doing, and that's what we're going to focus in on this summer.